What is good, people? King's Vault here. Now today we need to talk about Destined Rivals getting a large reprint. This includes both ETBs and booster boxes. What will this mean for this set? This could be huge or it could have very little impact. Let's explore it. Let's talk about it. So the first thing we've seen is an announcement or some sort of revelation or some sort of insider information from Poking Notify saying that a very large ETB reprint is coming, labeled as this summer, but they're talking about it coming in the next few weeks. Now, we don't know for sure which region this is going to come to, be it the UK or Europe or worldwide or just the States. My hunch is we're going to see a lot of stock pretty much everywhere, but we don't really know specifically what these numbers are. Now, it goes without saying that Destined Rivals has needed a reprint pretty much a month after it dropped. As soon as it came out, the prices were flying and we've been waiting on a reprint pretty much ever since. And it seems that that is happening. So it seems that it's not only ETBs, and at least in the UK, we're also seeing some booster boxes come to market. And it's going to be interesting to see what effect that actually will have on the prices and what will follow this reprint and really how consequential it's going to be. So starting off firstly with the ETBs, I think this is really, really great just from a collector point of view, because I'd quite like to get my hands on some of these ETBs if they get to a reasonable price to actually crack them open and enjoy some of the set, because I've not opened as much Destined as I would like, purely because it's so expensive and really, really hard to justify. So I'd love to see that come from a collector point of view, but also I think if you're someone that likes to pick up ETBs as an investment, this could produce an amazing opportunity. Now, naturally, when reprints get announced, we probably see a small drawback on the market price just because people start to panic. People think I need to sell my investments, which I would say is a really, really bad call. But nonetheless, some people have that approach, some more short-term minded people or people that have bought on credit cards and need to move things at a profit ASAP. Once again, not a smart move. But yeah, we are going to see people selling, and when, and assuming that it's accurate, if this large ETB reprint drops, it's to be seen how large it will be, we'll then see probably a further pullback. But we have to remember Destined Rivals is an exceptionally popular set. And if these prices come back down to something more reasonable, you're going to see a lot of people, me, you, anyone that likes Pokemon, anyone that likes Destined Rivals, new people that might come into the hobby when they see reprints coming and realize it might be more accessible. There's going to be a huge amount of demand. So if you are looking to pick up these ETBs, don't hang around, right? This is going to be a short pullback, if anything, similar to when Prismatic got a reprint. We see the price come down, and quite quickly people are thinking, I'll sit back, it's going to drop more, I'll buy it when it's RRP, MSRP. Of course that day doesn't come. So be smart, understand supply and demand. This is an exceptionally popular set and it's going to sell according to that. It's going to sell very, very quickly. Now you can see a mini appearance from my dog in the background. One moment, let me just sort her out. The doggo has exited the room. Okay, so where was I? The ETB reprint. We're going to see how big this reprint is going to be, and that's going to determine directly what sort of price action this has and how it affects the market. But I wouldn't expect it to be a huge pullback because the demand is so high. Any pullback will likely rebound very, very quickly. Some people will panic and sell. I personally won't be doing that. I don't think that's a smart move. Let's move on to talk about the booster box. So booster boxes for Destined Rivals are seemingly hitting the market in the UK. I've not seen a post from Poker Notify or anyone in that same regard talking about a massive booster box reprint, which does seem to be a theme, which I'll cover more in a moment. But that is definitely something interesting. Now, before I talk more about the booster boxes, I just want to say, if you are new to this channel, this is a very, very new channel. I'm like 6 or 7 videos deep. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. I've not made many videos on this channel, and any support's really appreciated. So dropping a like, clicking hype, dropping a comment, subscribing really does mean the world. So yeah, talking more about the booster boxes, I think it's becoming a theme now that we're not really seeing booster box reprints for main sets. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really remember a meaningful booster box reprint other than Surging Sparks. It seems these days that booster boxes come out, there's a reasonable amount that comes to market, and that pretty much is it, as I say, other than Surging Sparks being an exception. I don't know whether this is by design, whether they're pretty much going to do one run of booster boxes and that's all you get these days, or whether they're just unable to keep up, right? And other things for some reason have taken priority. But, you know, to kind of go against that, there is seemingly some sort of booster box stock of Destined Rivals coming to the UK, but everything I'm seeing so far suggests it's really not a huge amount. Now, for the people that aren't based in the UK, there's a large retailer called Smith's, which is kind of like just I guess a bit of a Walmart equivalent, probably not a great comparison, but they basically sell in the toy space kind of everything, Pokemon being one of them. Obviously in the UK, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Smiths, or probably Europe as well. But we are seeing some stock come to that market in Smiths across the country. But what is important to know is they are not selling the booster boxes sealed. So this isn't really going to affect the actual booster box price, because the booster box themselves aren't really going to see a meaningful increase in supply. With that said, supposedly some local game stores are actually getting some booster boxes, which means that maybe there will be a bit of a bump in terms of the supply of the booster boxes. But my hunch is it's really, really not going to be a meaningful amount. And everything we've seen so far suggests that. I think based on what I've seen from my local Smiths, they're talking about literally just one booster box being actually delivered to the store. Maybe more's going to follow soon. They've talked about this reprint potentially going over, or stock appearing over the next month or so, or I believe it was 2 weeks potentially. So maybe more to come. At the moment, I don't think this is a large booster box reprint. Subsequently, we'll probably see a pullback just because people hear the word booster box reprint. Some people will start to sell, but I don't think it's going to have a meaningful impact on the market. And the Destined Rivals booster box, I think, is going to remain very, very expensive. And even though tons of ETBs supposedly are coming to market, I'm really not sure it'll have that much of an impact on the booster box itself, because that, although the ETB will drive down the ETB cost, it will drive down the singles costs, the booster box still remains a very desirable sealed product and collectible item. And I don't think the ETB, even in a large scale reprint, will have all that much impact. So I think that more or less sums it up really. A Destined Rivals reprint is coming specifically around ETBs and booster boxes. But assuming a lot of the stock's going to Smiths, it's more just like single packs, because that's all you'll be buying from Smiths, and a large amount of ETBs are going to come to market. We will just have to wait and see how big this reprint is and what actual effect it has on the market, but it could definitely open up some great buying opportunities. But I'm not sure the booster box is going to get that much more affordable, and it's going to remain around these kind of crazy £300 to £400 prices, around $450 to $500 US dollars is kind of how I see things panning out. Let me know what you think. Is this Destined Rivals reprint going to be the end of Destined Rivals investing, or is it just an amazing opportunity, or kind of just a nothingness? That's what I'm leaning towards. I don't think this is going to have a huge impact. Maybe the ETBs will pull back a bit. Let me know what you think. Please drop a like if you haven't already. More content coming very soon. I appreciate any support. I'll catch you in the next one. Love.